After escaping the deadly fire at the House of Lac, the Pandavas and their mother Kunti wandered deep into the wilderness, seeking refuge in the dense forests far from Hastinapura. They had no kingdom, no home and no allies, only each other and the uncertainty of exile. But fate was watching, and deep in the shadows something else was too. One evening after an exhausting day of travel, the Pandavas reached a secluded part of the forest. The towering trees stood like silent sentinels, their gnarled branches twisting under the pale moonlight. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth, and an eerie silence hung in the air, broken only by the distant howls of unseen creatures. Kunti, weary from the journey, lay down to sleep while her sons kept watch in turns. The forest felt unsettling, as if a pair of invisible eyes were locked onto them from the darkness. They were right to be wary. Not far from where the Pandavas rested, two monstrous figures lurked. Hidimba and his sister Hidimbi. They were Rakshasas, or demons, creatures of immense strength and terrifying hunger. Hidimba the elder was a giant demon with jagged fangs, clawed hands and eyes that burned with a cruel hunger. He had smelled human flesh, and his appetite grew insatiable. Turning to his sister, he ordered, "Go, see who they are. If they are weak, lure them here. Tonight we shall feast on their bones." Hidimbi obeyed, but unlike her brother, she was not consumed by bloodlust. She had seen enough of Hidimba's cruelty to question her own nature. As she approached the clearing where the Pandavas rested, she transformed, shedding her terrifying form and taking on the appearance of a beautiful human woman. Her footsteps were light, her voice soft, but the moment her eyes fell upon Bhima, her mission was forgotten. Bhima stood alone, keeping watch over his family. He was unlike any man Hidimbi had ever seen. His muscles rippled with power, his stance was unshaken, and his presence radiated confidence and strength. In that instant, something stirred in her heart. The hunger for blood faded, replaced by something she had never felt before. She had come to deceive him, but now she wanted only to protect him. Stepping forward, she whispered urgently, "Warrior, you must leave this place at once. My brother has set his eyes on you. He will come soon, and he will not rest until he has devoured you all." Bhima chuckled, his voice deep and fearless. "Is that so? Let him come. I do not run from a fight." Before Hidimbi could say another word, a monstrous roar shattered the night. The trees trembled as Hidimbi stormed into the clearing, his massive form blotting out the moonlight. His eyes blazed with fury, his sharp claws glistening in the dim light. "You betray me, Hidimbi," he roared. "Then I shall feast on you as well." But Bhima stepped forward, cracking his knuckles. "You will feast on nothing tonight, demon." Hidimbi lunged. Claws slashed through the air, but Bhima dodged with ease. The two titans clashed, shaking the forest with each blow. Trees cracked and splintered, the earth trembled beneath their feet, and the echoes of battle rang through the night. But Hidimbi was no match for Bhima's strength. Seizing the demon by his legs, Bhima lifted him high above his head, and with a roar of power slammed him to the ground. The impact was deafening. Hidimbi let out one final blood-curdling cry before his body went still. The demon was dead. Hidimbi fell to her knees, torn between grief and admiration. Her brother was gone, but in his place stood the warrior who had captured her heart. Turning to Kunti, she pleaded, "O noble queen, allow me to be with him. Let me marry Bhima. I swear I shall only bring him happiness." Kunti, wise and compassionate, saw the sincerity in her eyes. She turned to Bhima and said, "My son, this woman risked everything to save us. If your heart allows it, take her as your wife." Bhima hesitated. His path was not one of love or peace, but duty. Finally he nodded. "I will stay with you, but only for a time. When our son is born, I must leave. My brothers and mother need me." Hidimbi accepted the terms. Their union was brief, but from it a mighty child was born, Ghatotkacha, a Rakshasa prince of unmatched power. Ghatotkacha was no ordinary child. Born of human and Rakshasa blood, he grew at an unnatural pace. towering over men within days of his birth. He inherited Bhima's strength and his mother's supernatural abilities. Before Bhima left, he placed a firm hand on his son's shoulder. "One day a great war will come. When I call upon you, you must fight by my side." Ghatotkacha bowed. "When that day comes, I shall be there, father." With a final farewell, Bhima left Hidimbi and their son behind, reuniting with his brothers and Kunti. But as they walked deeper into the wilderness, a sense of unease lingered in the air. They had escaped one danger, but something far worse awaited them. In the shadows, their enemies had not forgotten them, and the path ahead was far more treacherous than they could ever imagine.